And welcome everyone to another exciting adventure on Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and I am happy to have this guest on. And we've been having great conversation, getting ready. You guys are in for a huge treat. If you were able to watch the Summer Daze conference on June 13th, you will recognize my guest, as she was a speaker at the conference. But the replay of that is available if you go to Gina Virginia Casella to get a hold of that link. She will help you out with that. But all that aside, we have some great conversation and some great information coming your way. So I'm going to turn it over to my awesome and amazing guest. And I give you all the one, the only grid work awareness. I don't know even how many words to describe, but she is an overall experiencer of so much. Slavka, the natural sentient.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on your channel. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on and agreeing to be a guest. And for those who may be wondering what is a natural sentient and who is Slavka, could you give the audience a little bit of background to both of those?
Yeah, so the natural sentient stands for a person. For me, this name came to me as a download because I'm the natural lover and I love to connect with the nature and with its beings, with its guardians, the guardians of the places and wherever I go. So that's why the natural sentient. So as I mentioned, I do into the grid work where I go outside and I connect with the places where and I also help to cleanse space. My certain way, I also feel the energy. So I do the stuff related to healing and energy healing, especially emotional healing, and many other stuff that maybe we can mention. So I'm like, I can say a transmuter as well, because I feel that all my life I'm transmuting the energies. So yeah, like that. And I do sometimes readings and whatever, psychic stuff. So yeah.
That's amazing, and I feel like it is really needed on this planet right now with where we are. And I have a question for you that I'm not sure if you've ever been asked because it's kind of something that I've been kind of partly guided to ask, and I kind of want to ask for my own curiosity, and that is doing grid work and healing the grid and accessing the grid. What was your aha moment to learning that you could do this, and what has been the impact on your life since doing this grid work, healing, and accessing it? But I'm also curious, along with the grid, do you consider the ley lines part of that grid?
Yeah, yeah, because they convey the energy. So they are like the veins of the place we are, planet. And yeah, I always felt, that there is where when I came to some place that they like something is going on there, and it strengthened or it got enhanced eventually, and I think last few years I started to feel it more intense, and I had like mini reading with Dr. Amir Jahangiri that I really find amazing healer and guide, shaman, master, and uh, like he brought more clarity into the things for me to understand deeper, like why this grid work and why it's important. And it's just by being and holding the frequency and going to the places. And literally just put the intention, for cleansing and for activating the beings that are actually there and the crystals that are under. So that's being like part of the work as an earth keeper or earth custodian, to go into different places and to simply like connect with them and just to feel if there is something trapped, or just to listen, just be there and feel that energy.
No, that's amazing. And were you doing this as a child, or did this come in teenage years or adult life? And what led you to this path? Was there a moment where you sat there and was like, oh, this is what the world needs? I can do this, so I choose to do this.
Yeah, as you said, there was some aha moment that came like with the last awakening, because during the life we have more awakenings, like push for awakening, to wake up. And so this was like the last one was in 2020. And so since that time, I started to be more interested in this stuff. And what I do intuitively, because I listen to my inner wisdom or to my soul where it's guiding me. And it's coming to me simply the places where to go. And I see it's basically to anywhere. Most of the ancient sites, usually, and also like churches, cathedrals, burial places. It's like even castles, different places. And many times I even feel, and not only in the public transport, I feel that there are trapped spirits. I learned eventually what it means, how it feels. I learned to recognize it if there is like trapped spirit that is actually asking for help. And lately, I had a wonderful reading with Dragorit, or it was a consultation to be precisely, and that was even that brought again more deeper understanding, like how it can be done as well. It's not only about the releasing, helping, to release that. put that intention, but it's also about offering healing. So it always uh, goes deeper and deeper, and I'm still learning. And I'm not saying I'm not guru in anything. I'm still learning, and I'm just listening my intuition and my inner wisdom.
No, that's really good to hear, and I think that's something a lot of people don't realize is, yeah, as much, we could be studying this for 5 years, 1 year, a week, but your awareness comes to you at your own time and your own pace. And the second you feel like you've mastered it all, I feel like is you're no longer needed here. And so you're not going to stay here. And so as long as we're here, keep learning.
Well, I feel actually the opposite.
Really?
That I'm still, yes, I still haven't learned some lessons. So obviously, I go through that spiral, and until I actually complete this, I will be here. And yeah, well, it sounds really good to hear. Like I'm no longer needed here. Well, uh, I think we are needed no matter what. But we have our lessons we have. But this planet um, still needs us. I mean, it would be really great to know that we are not coming back. Yes, some of us. I know that. Regarding myself, I still don't believe that I'm not coming back in another lifetime because there is a lot of work in rewriting codes, in recreating the original like energetic lines. Here is a lot of work simply, and I'm I see myself that I'm still learning in that path of learning and healing. So it's a lot of work to be done here. So I don't know, but it sounded really nice.
No, I agree. And what I meant by, mastered everything and no longer being needed was I wasn't meaning, okay, we're checking out. It's more like we, mastered everything. I'm now a choice to stay or go. It's, I a new choice of a new calling of am I going to continue being a way shower and stay here and continue, or do I trust what's been laid before me and everything, the legacy of what's there will continue, in which case I move on to the next level or the next part. That's what I was referring to. It wasn't meaning, oh
Mhm.
yeah, you're done, you're out. No, it's shifting what's going on because I feel like, you and I, when we were talking before going live, we were like really in sync and everything in kind of our thought patterns and everything. And I don't find that very often where so much is in common and, being gravitated towards someone and not, and, and then realizing that. And so I noticed like you have mysticism and you do healing and and I'm wondering if that awareness of yours is what's reaching out to the awareness of mine, and that's why we're like in sync on some things, and other things we're like, that's a good point, I got to think about that.
Yeah, I think it's also a soul tribe, a similar or the same blueprint. You know, like the stuff that we came through, that we did. That is inside us. That mm, we like have a lot of things in common. So I call it like soul tribe or soul family.
Yes, I agree. And I'm kind of curious what, because in reality, I know this sounds strange, but as we're growing up and we're learning all the things in front of us, what was it that made you sit there and go, you know, all of this that people are saying, which we would call like the norms of society, the mainstream, like the main religions and everything, going, this doesn't resonate with me. This isn't me. I need to go do this. And in which case, you kind of stepped into the mysticism. So, what was it like making that choice, and what impacts do you think that choice had on your life when you made it?
And that choice is coming from inside, and it's you. It's your authentic self. So when you make that decision, you know, to follow what you feel that is right for you, and to be that outcast, literally, let's put it that way, you are going back to yourself, or closer to yourself, who you really are in your core, in your essence, who you really are. Yeah, because I always felt like there is something wrong uh, where we live, the system itself, and all of these rules and limitations, and obey this, comply with this, restrictions. So yeah, it's in your inside you that you simply want freedom for the spirit, for you, for yourself, to do whatever feels good for you. Yeah, so I think that comes from inside, and it's the part of our blueprint, as we always been, who we really are.
I agree, and it's kind of interesting because we were talking before going live, and we were talking about one thing, and you kept pointing out how that was like really key point, and I think you just kind of made that point. So I'm going to piggyback what we were talking about, and that was we live in a society to where everybody does something to help themselves and then turns to everybody else and says, now you have to do this because it worked for me. But they don't take into account their body is their body, everybody else's body is everybody else's body. And so what works for you may not work for them. And that's why some people succeed, some people fail, is because they're trying to be something they're not, and it doesn't work. You have to be authentic, like you said. And so I think that was a great way to bring that point back in and saying, to everybody, you have to be your authentic self. And if it doesn't match what society wants, well, that's society's problem, not yours. And so, what advice would you have for someone, that's growing up, in today's world where society is bombarding them by saying, you need to be this, you have to be this, you have to do this, and trying to destroy the authentic individual self?
Yeah, because it's part of the programming and conditioning of the matrix when we grow up, and it first starts in our families. So we just copy, and what we find as its good example for us. Yeah, but I just say honestly, everything what happens has teaching. It's a lesson. So I just say, it's really good to just be yourself, I mean this in a positive way, just feel what is right for you. And I'm not going this, like I don't mean this to feel or to fuel the agendas, to, but in this healthy way when you have awareness. I mean it in a healthy way. Just be yourself. And it's okay. Everyone has the right to express their own opinion on you, but it's mostly about their projection, their internal setting, their inner world. So it's their thing. It's not our thing. A lot of people just project on us the stuff that actually they are their own. So don't take things personally. Yeah, because they're traumatized.
Right. And
So I say just, yeah, it's about observation and awareness. Just observe, and it's about really exploring what is it and how do you feel. It's about if it resonates or not. It's about that what makes me happy and what not.
so I'm curious, as you were growing up and, experiencing life and everything, as you're becoming your authentic Slavka self, how, what was going on around you? Were people accepting of you being you, or did you have, some experiences of like being bullied or being, teased because you were not following the script, so to speak, and the agenda?
Yeah, it happened to me that I was yeah, bullied as well and judged, and there was like like it was about judgment. Yeah, the you are not like you're supposed to be, and it was also my parents. They told me many times how they're not satisfied and all of these feelings. Yeah, like yeah, you're not being enough or doing enough. Yeah, but yeah, that was just all these lessons were just for me, and just okay. I forgave it. I forgive with love, and it is as it is.
Yes, and the reason I kind of went and into that is because I feel like a lot of people look at where we are today and listen to what we're saying and are like, well, that's easy for you to say because you are, you know, you now, but I am, younger and I'm in a different generation. And so I just like to point out that, where we are has come from doing shadow work. We didn't grow up in a world of, oh yes, everybody is so excited that you're doing this and you're so supportive. That yes, we did have to overcome challenges to get where we are, and so it wasn't easy. And so people that are looking today and going, well, yeah, that sounds super easy. Well, it is for us now because we've done the work. And so it is easier for us now. And so that's the hope that I was trying to bring out with you for people, that may be struggling through this right now, is it's going to get easier. It's going to shift in your favor. Just stick with it and keep being your authentic self, and you're going to get there. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, I mean it takes time. It takes time actually, even to start to look in the mirror and see all the shadows that are there.
It
So yeah.
I agree, and I'm a little bit curious, and I don't know why this question is coming in my head, but it is, so I'm just gonna run with it, and that is the Slavka today, looking at the Slavka growing up and going through everything. What would you, if you could go back and talk with that version of yourself, what kind of conversation would you have with yourself?
Mm, well, first of all, I wouldn't have changed anything because I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I'm grateful for all of it. And what I would what I would say to myself would be like have courage, have courage to do the things, to stand your truth, to do really what feels right for you. Have that courage and don't care really what others are saying. That would be maybe the only thing, yeah. And don't let others to disappoint or to spin with you. That would be
No,
to have more courage. Yeah,
yes, I love that, and the reason I went like this is because I say to people, yeah, my past is filled with a bunch of pain and almost like torture, but I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through that. So I wouldn't want to go back and alter anything. And so when you said it just the way like I say it, I was like, thank you. Finally, somebody that agrees with me and has the same thought that I have, because we don't think about it that way. We don't look at the world, where we are today and say, we are this because of this. We think, oh, because I'm spiritually minded now and and thinking if I go back and I change things, I'll still be this. No, you won't. And that's the hardship is, we have to allow things to unfold that are unpleasant for the
yeah,
pleasant in the present.
yeah, absolutely.
And do you feel that that awareness of not wanting to go back and change things, do you think that is because we have tapped into like the heart centered consciousness and we're like living that in the moment? Or do you feel like that's a different part of our growth and I'm trying to blend things that aren't meant to be blended, so to speak?
Mm, no, it's about deeper understanding and awareness. But again, it's great to have awareness. But if it stays as awareness and it's not being applied and living, to embody that awareness, then it's useless. That's why I'm saying I still have my lessons to be done, to be learned. Yeah, I'm on that journey still. It's lifetime journey. That's what I say, and that's all of these I mentioned in my presentation uh, in Summer Daze Gymnast Conference, which was about learning self-love through the wisdom of wounds. Yeah, so it's about that awareness that I know what's going on. I'm able to identify um, situations and energy behind it, what triggers me so I can't respond differently. It's about responding, how I respond to what's going on, what's happening around. And it's about yeah, but it's about that level. It's about that consciousness. You're right.
Yeah, and you're right as well, because one of the things that I point out with people when, you know, we hear, the frustration of, when we're dealing with a pattern in our life and we do shadow work and the pattern still shows up. We do shadow work and the pattern still shows up. It's like eventually we start getting the mindset none of this is working. So why continue? And I had the aha moment of one day looking at, yes, the situation is reoccurring, but the way I'm responding and the way I'm aware of the situation arising has changed. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
aware sooner what's going on. And I'm
Yes.
aware different choices to make in the response sooner. And so I point out to people, yes, the situation may be repetitive and ongoing shadow work, but look at the win of if it took you 3 days to realize, oh, I took this on, and that's something somebody said, and I need to shake this off. And when that happens again from somebody else, but instead of 3 days, now you did it in 2 days. Hey, you have now made awareness leap from 3 days. You cut a day out of it. So you became aware sooner. That's a win. And your
Yes.
response, can be changed. And so that's what I point out to people is it's not just, changing the situation. It's the response and the awareness around it that's also changing. And so thank you for pointing that out and bringing that up, because I think a lot of people don't look at that.
Thank you for asking and bringing that up as well.
Yes,
Great
and
questions.
well, thank you. I can't take all the credit for them. I have a good team that's helping me with channeling them through. So as long as they're awake.
It's awesome. I love it.
You mentioned having like multi-dimensional insight, and that is something that's kind of fairly new, I think, for people to think about, where we are taking ourselves from being a 3D version of ourselves here on this earth, reacting with other earth beings, to now going, wait, I am a 3D earth being, but I'm not just existing on the earth plane. I'm existing in other dimensions. So, how did that insight unfold for you? Like, what was that moment where you were like, "Wow, I'm not Slavka, the human on Earth. I am Slavka, a multi-dimensional, multi-existing person or being."
Yeah, when we see everything from the perspective that everything is like energy, frequency, and vibration, then obviously it sounds completely brings different perspectives. Like yes, we don't exist only in this reality, but also in another realities, in another versions of us. So it's not only soul, but over soul and stuff like that. So I think this is a really great topic to explore. And yeah, uh, why to limit yourself when it comes on this? When you connect with quantum, that's what I say. So yes, we are multidimensional beings in a human bodies.
Yeah,
Whatever, we are very powerful. Realize that.
we
Yeah.
are, and I'm curious when you first like looked at like the quantum level and seeing yourself and the infinite, Slavka, energy that's out there. Was that experience like, you know, humbling and you were like, wow, that's really cool? Or were you one of those that was like, oh my God, this is like more than I could handle, and it took you a while to come to terms and be like, okay, I'm okay with this. I understand this now, and I'm not overwhelmed by this quantum concept and multidimensional concept, and I'm at peace with it and I'm ready to go forward.
Well, yeah. I am here, to go forward, to move forward. Whatever is that, because there is the purpose, there is a mission, there is like some higher aim that is in play, which exists only this human 3D stuff. And honestly, yes, I will be very honest. So since I came here, I didn't feel like it's comfortable here. Not because of being in human body, but because of the environment, the system itself. So, um, of course, I knew that there is something more. I knew that there is a lot of things. There are certain superpowers and gifts that we have. And eventually, okay, um, I'm still on that way, to anchor myself and not to try to escape away, like out of this reality, just because of that. So yeah, there are levels of perception, and there's layers and layers of understanding. So I'm not saying anything is good. I try to keep my neutrality. Yeah. However, it's not easy because, as I see, there's a lot of injustice happening and a lot of breaching of free will, and a lot of these experiments that are going on, which this is all what is going on here on Earth, and so it went out of control. So this is like a lab here, experimental lab. So it's yes, it takes some time to get in peace with everything and not to be in rage. Yeah, so it's like a inner battle where one part of you is that healer and wise master, and another is that fighter warrior, that outcast, that is really like, oh, I don't like this. So this was part, and this is still part of me. Yeah, sort of like being in between the worlds. Yeah, like now we are in this transition point. Yeah, in between two worlds, like all is crumbling like down, and you see what's going on, and the new is still okay. We energetically okay, but there is still like to be built a lot of stuff and to be created. So like being in between in this inner conflict, like how to respond, if to respond with peace and love and to share love, or to respond like, oh yeah, and with anger and shoot the arrow and start fighting.
No, you're absolutely right, and I totally agree. And you raised a good point of, a lot of people are preaching free will, but I notice sitting back and like watching that everyone that's, and when I say everyone, I mean everyone that I have personally seen or experienced that's preaching free will has no actual concept of free will, because their version of free will is conditionally based on you doing what they project out and say, this is how you get free will. This is what you have to do. And
Yeah.
that all sounds nice and great to have a guidebook, but that goes back to what we said earlier, that that which works for one does not work for all. So there is no guidebook to free will, because like Slavka, can say, yes, the warrior, doesn't act out of love, that acts out of anger. And I'm like, huh, my warrior acts out of love. Hey, we're not in agreement, so therefore I guess one of us is wrong, because free will, is dependent on this or this, where instead the true reality is the free will is to go, yes, our warrior can act out of not being in love or in out of love. It can do both. And we can do both at all times. It all depends on where we are and how we're feeling and responding. That's our free will, not this idea that everyone is putting out there of going, oh, you have to be this, you have to be that, and this is what they're taking from you. This is how you're losing your free will. No, your free will is being lost because you're giving your power to the person that's preaching what you want to hear and not listening to yourself. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And so, what advice would you have for people who are trying to embrace, and live at free will, and not get caught up in the story and get caught up in giving their power away without realizing that's what they're doing?
Important is to treat others as you would like to be treated. So that means you do no harm, no unnecessary harm to others. And for this, I believe is needed some higher level of consciousness, or a deeper understanding. Because the number one that we get to work out or to improve is communication and relationship. First of all, relationship with self, how I see myself, and then how I see others. So it's all about relationships, and we are learning about ourselves through the relationships. There are a lot of issues with communication. We even don't know how to approach others, how to find someone, your partner. You don't know how to start conversation. So there are some certain issues, just with basic communication. Yeah. And so the relationships between people, that's, I think, to be more compassionate or to have more empathy. But first of all, it's with self, because everything is a projection around me. This is a mirror world. So we were just our other versions. You are my other version. So that's what I see. I mean, I just say that one thing: treat others as you would like to be treated.
Yes, I love that. And talking about relationships, I always find it interesting when I, through experience, have witnessed like there's like three types of relationships. There's the one where they're both in alignment and they're both seeking the same thing, so they're both helping each other grow, and there's that type of relationship. Then there's the, well, this person is growing while this person's staying stagnant, and just says, you go do what you want to do, you go do your thing, I'm okay being here. And then there's the other type of relationship where they're like, oh, I'm trying, to grow because now I realize this is not working. And the other partner is like, I don't understand why it's not working now for you. It's been working for all these years. And we have a family. And they're like, yes, for the sake of the kids, we're going to, be miserable and we'll just wait until they grow up to a certain age and then we'll live our happier lives. And I know in my heart, all three of those are okay and are good in their, because it's what they are looking at and they're not mine to try and quote fix. But how would you look at those scenarios and be like, you need to do what's really guiding, what's really calling to you and honor yourself and not
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice yourself. So, how would you approach that?
Well, I agree what you said because eventually um, it will escalate. Eventually, there will be issues more and more. And because if someone is doing the work, the inner work and healing, and other one is not, then you will start to feel that you know that you're going far away from each other, and eventually it will come that day, yeah, that you will choose yourself over the other one, and you stop self sabotaging. I know it's not easy when you have family with kids. It's not easy at all, and especially when there are challenges, you know, with finances and how to feed and how to make living. So I know this is not really easy situation, but I'm just saying that's why it's going what is going on these last years. There's a lot of people are losing the ground, like there's a lot of separation going on, and just people split up, divorces or whatever because of this. There's just simply so much that frequency gap between people. You know, when you feel that, it's like you can keep going like this, but it has a lot of emotional pain and suffering in it, which I understand. Yeah, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of whatever, to keep the family together. I know this is like really a mission. So I just witnessed a lot of changes, in relationships, and whether they are married or not, the people, split and just simply, you know, it just comes like naturally, this uncomfortable truth is coming out under the carpet. There are no more stuff to hide under the carpet because it's coming out. These last 2 years, at least, that I notice that this is going on. Yeah. So there are consequences for every decision. Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
and
consequences in everything. And I'm aware it's not really easy at all, you know.
no, I agree. And the sad thing about that is we live in a society to where we're taught if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And so it's like we are trained
Yeah.
to tell ourselves if we make it more complicated and harder for ourselves, it's more rewarding. And that's a program that is not necessarily true in all aspects of our lives. but that's, part of the simulation that we're in. And so unfortunately, it's like, it seems like we're in a world simulation of every time we feel like, yes, I've reached that golden ring, so to speak, and I've mastered this concept and this idea. And then there's your higher self or your guides, whoever you want to call it, that go, really? You think that? Well, let us show you where you're really at. And then they'll throw a scenario at you, and you're like, ah, crap, I'm not the master. I'm not where I thought I was. And I wonder, in those moments, is that the simulation program trying to bring us down? Or is that our higher self saying, hey, you got to balance yourself. Don't, get ahead of yourself. We still have work to do.
It's both. It's both. Because it's like I see this as being in the training field. Yeah, however, there's like feeling, oh yeah, like they're trying on us and they're just like, playing with us. But on the other hand, that we are just discovering that yes, we have power. We are powerful. No matter what, whatever is going on, we are still here. All right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's both.
Very cool. And talking about being here, you have a unique perspective that I don't have yet because I've only talked and presented at one conference as a speaker, like on stage, so to speak. You actually did two. We talked about the Summer Daze conference in June, but you also did Bases TV. And so I'm curious if you don't mind, and there's no pressure or no agenda behind this, but I'm just curious from your standpoint, what were the differences and what were the similarities between both experiences, and did you feel more energy out of one than the other?
um, well, uh, one was online and one was in person.
Right.
So that was the difference, and both were amazing. I just wanna like clarify that I was a speaker only in the GNS conference, Summer Days. In the other one, I was as a visitor.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah, because Julia had a presentation, so Julia spoke at that conference at Basis TV. So there I was mostly as a visitor, and I had a chance to meet the speakers and the audience. So that was the difference, um, the main
Okay.
difference. So uh, it was both really great, but like meet someone in person, it's completely different level. Yeah, so for me it was something, like wow, okay. Before I see someone only, I saw people, only just like in this virtual space. But when you get to meet in person, it's like you can hug and you say, wow, it's like that surprise, and it's just like it's fantastic. And then we spent time together and we had great conversations. So that was, I know that with Gina, we also had an amazing time. She's fantastic and excellent organizer. Everything went smoothly. Everything was, on time and precisely organized. Very, very well organized. That was online, so we could meet. And I wish we could meet also in person. That would be really amazing, and with you as well, and with the audience. So that was the only difference. Like this online presence is nice, but in person is even nicer. Yeah. I just feel like that cannot be substituted, with anything. This we are still like in physical reality. I know that everything like it's energy, where it's energy, then distance, time, space, and doesn't matter. But this meeting in person, it's something that I really appreciate.
Yes, and you have so I stand corrected. I was under the impression you were speaking, and so I apologize for that
No, it's
misunderstanding.
okay.
But I do, though, have a follow up question that you do have a unique perspective of is you witnessed Julia on screen presenting, and you got to witness in person Julia presenting. And so I'm curious your thoughts between both, because I understand it was the same presentation, but one was a little bit more in depth because there was more time. And so I'm curious your perspectives of both the online Julia versus the in person Julia on stage presenting.
Yeah, I mean, I did a live stream. It's on my Facebook page. So yes, I recorded that Julia's speech, which was really insightful, and it really brought a lot of healing. That was actually healing for her first of all, um, but also for the others. And I mean, that level of awareness is incredible. And that effort that she put into that, and that was felt from that entire presentation, and she presented it with big confidence. So she's a great moderator. When she was moderating the conference, and that was like wow. I felt, yeah, this is like perfect person, for moderating it, and just for introducing, each guest in between, and it just went amazing. No, it was like really great to see her. Normally you just see only the top half, but then it's like then you see like the entire like personality. So it's like just wow, okay, it's awesome.
No, that's really cool, and I'm sure she'll appreciate hearing that. And I'm also curious, though, on a deeper level of, we talked about, when she was presenting online with Gina, how the energy and everything that she was putting into it, and the energy she was feeling, and everything versus her presenting it in person. Did the energy behind the presentation, did it feel different, or was it really the same energy both behind her story and everything?
Yeah, it was very authentic and powerful, because it was like when you speak from about yourself, like you are completely like the emperor is naked in that style, because you really reveal a lot about yourself and about your other versions, and that is very emotional. So it was very powerful energy in both.
Yeah, and so would you say if another person that puts on conferences, let's say, saw your presentation with Gina and was like, reached out and was like, Slavka, we're putting on this conference. Would you, want to be a speaker? Do you feel that, inspired more watching, like the speakers that were with you and talking with previous speakers with Gina and seeing like the live people presenting in person? Would you feel you're like, oh, I want to do more of that? Or are you more of the, I'm comfortable doing it online, but maybe not on stage yet? Or are you like, nope, I am done with conferences. I'll just do my thing over here.
It was very humbling, actually, because it was my first time
Yes.
speaking at the conference. So thank you very much for that opportunity. And I tried this online presentation, and I would try even on the stage. Why not? I would embrace this challenge. So
No,
just to explore.
yeah, and I think that's beautiful. And I wonder if you would have been in agreement that that's a testament to Gina, because she was my first on screen presentation, speaking, on conference. And then I came in and helped moderate your first and kind of helped in the background as much as I could. And I'm going to be speaking at a conference in August with a friend of mine. And so I'm wondering, would you be in agreement of saying that's a testament to kind of nodding our hat to saying thank you, Gina, for providing us our first opportunity, and look at what you helped launch us into. Here we go.
Well, absolutely. That really, I love that she asked you, actually, and she considered, that she invited you to be a speaker. So yeah, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And
Because you have a lot to share.
I know, and it's amazing how much you can fit in, but it's also amazing how much you have to leave out in a 35-minute presentation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 35 minutes can be short and can be long as well. That depends. But yeah, it's not easy to squeeze uh, information in 35 minutes. Well, especially it depends what you would like to share, and it's really a lot. So yeah, it can be a challenge. That's why, for example, I asked Gina for assistance to help me, to just to to guide me through, to narrow it down, and to make an order, like what can like, and to make it more like, to find the proper words and to just bring more order. So yeah, that was my case.
Yes, and I love that she did that, and she kind of helped me out too, because I had never done like video to presentation. And so I was like, I finally figured it out, and with her help, and turned it in. And then before she downloaded it, changed it so that it would be ready for me. And he messaged me and said, there's no video. And I was like, what? So
Mm.
I had to redo the whole thing because even my computer took the video version and wiped the video to save the other version, even though I saved it in two different places. I was like, how and why did this happen? Oh, well, now I know I can't delete this until, later, and redid it. And I kind of actually feel like, though, the redo probably was a much better video than the first one because the first one I was more pressured to get it done on time. Where the second video, I was like, I already know what I'm gonna say, and so it's a little bit more natural. But there was a little bit of, I think, calmness too when it came time to present because we already did the presentation and making that video that was gonna play if we couldn't make it on for some reason. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I understand you because I was there as well. I was correcting it, writing it, and then okay, oh my god, how to record that, So I was also like overthinking and trying to not to make it perfect. So yeah, but at the end, with Gina's help, uh, I was able to do that. And actually, afterwards, last minute, I did some changes. I added some more stuff. So I'm glad actually that the way how I did it because it was a lot. As I say, it was kind of hard to squeeze uh, the main important stuff into 35 minutes. So at the end, it was okay, but before, oops, some stress. But yeah, at the end, it was amazing, and you did very well. Amazing work. Yes, as a moderator in the chat and also helping out Gina. So yeah, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. And I will be honest with you in full transparency, Slavka, of when Gina sent me the list of speakers to help her with putting together, trying making some video ads and everything. I was looking at the names and the topics and I was like, well, that looks interesting. That looks interesting. I've never heard of this person. I never heard of this person. Oh wow, this person's going to be on. Oh wow, that's really cool. I know this person. And so when I listened to your presentation, it was the same with like Sheila, that I was so excited after hearing your presentation that I was going to get to talk to you both on the panel show discussing, what the, you know, feeling around the conference was. But then I was also excited to have you on like today doing an episode because hearing what you were talking about and hearing everything that you were presenting, I was like, man, that is an amazing story. And I want to help get that story out because I think other people can benefit from that. And so thank you for, not letting, fear or self doubt take, you know, over for you and that you actually delivered the presentation you and just know you did so well. You got my attention and here you are on my show. And so I highly doubt though your, goal for the presentation was to go, I want to be on, a podcast show, let's do this so I can do that. But what I'm saying is it impacted me so that it drew me in to want to hear more about your story. And so if it did that for me, I'm willing to bet there are others that are going to watch your presentation and you'll probably have more invites to podcasts, or they'll watch this episode and be like, "Ooh, I want to talk to that person." And so don't be surprised if you start getting invitations to shows.
Thank you very much, Michael. The same I say to you. I honor you and I honor your journey. You speak with great wisdom.
Well, thank you. I try my best, and uh, I often will say I am merely, a spiritual being having a human experience. So I don't always hit the nail on the head, but I at least stick my foot out to either take the step or get my foot run over, depending on how the situation goes. But hey, on the bright side, though, even if my foot gets run over, I'm still a step closer to my goal than I was if I just stood there and didn't do anything.
You do great work.
Yes.
Um, and you just do what is natural to you, what is natural to your soul.
Yes, I try to follow my instincts and my guidance from above with who I bring on shows and what information comes forward. And sometimes everybody's in alignment with it, and we all are like, this was so cool, so great. I'm like, yes, I totally agree. And sometimes it doesn't hit the mark, and I just simply say to people, well, I'm sorry that one didn't hit, with you like others did. So please enjoy the other ones. Or if are like, this just totally put me off, then I'm like, well, go and enjoy other, speakers because I'm not the only one. And people are a little surprised that I will say that because as a podcast host, my existence, so to speak, as a podcaster, I need viewers. And so if I'm
Yes,
telling viewers to leave, if they all leave, I don't have an audience. And so they're like, are you sure that's a wise thing to say? And I'm like, yeah, it's because the viewers that stay and watch or, view the episodes, whether it's live or on replay, are the ones that are meant to see it. And
yes,
so that's the audience I rather would have, are the ones that want to see it and are drawn to see it, than having, say, 100,000 viewers every episode live because I'm giving them what they want. I'm like, no, I'm going to deliver what I'm guided to deliver, and it's going to go to who it's divinely guided to go to. And I just have to trust in that. And it's hard, and I'm sure you're the same way because you're a host as well, that it's hard sometimes to sit there and go, I could easily get numbers by doing this and this, but That's not what I'm about. And to stay true to your authentic goal for your show.
Yes, keep going because there's a lot of content creators out there that actually literally speak about that. And they just brainwash people and they have really thousands of followers for whatever reason. So I resonate with you what you said.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I'm grateful for my audience, and I'm great, and I do my best to acknowledge the viewers every chance that I get, and I encourage people, if you watch this show and you see me in public, feel free to say hello and you know share with me your thoughts on what you're thinking, because I'm not one of those kind of hosts that's like, I don't want public approaching me and I don't want all the attention. It's like, I'm not doing it for attention, but as much as I acknowledge you, it's nice to be acknowledged back. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. And I'm going to offer you, Slavka, an opportunity to share about your podcast channel and your show channel and what it's about and your goals for that.
thank you very much. So I'm the host of the typical skeptic podcast. No, of the natural sentient podcast.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
that's
one.
correct. Yeah, and that was so, you know, such a mistake, but yeah, it's a similar name. So yeah, the natural sentient podcast, and my aim is to also to bring people as you and to talk with them, people that have stuff to share about the journey, and about the experience, and to tell the story about how they, how they manage to, to do the healing, to be on their journey, about any great work, paranormal stuff, anything that is, beyond ordinary, uh, extraordinary, ordinary, and just to connect and to inspire and be inspired. So hopefully, yeah, we also inspire others as well with this wonderful conversation.
Yes, I agree. And oh, one of my guests in the audience, Tammy Katz NY, is saying I'm starting a pod, and
Wonderful.
think she's going to be calling it Backyard Stones because she's got hashtag Backyard Stones. That's really cool, Tammy. You're going to have to send us all links to it, and we'll come and subscribe to your channel and check it out. And she says yes.
Yes, yes, please share with us. That's amazing. Yeah, please uh, follow that call if you feel like starting a podcast. Yeah, please do so.
Yes, and if when you're getting started, if you feel like you need a guest or you need help getting started, feel free to reach out to us that have shows and that you resonate with. And like, I know I would be happy to help if I can in any way. And oh, there you are. Somehow you got bounced off the stage. I went to put up your
Yeah,
YouTube channel and you like disappeared from the screen.
Yeah, I'm back. I think I was frozen, so I just wanted to, to fix that.
Oh, okay. Well, I will
Thank
admit
you.
I thought you put your screen in avatar mode, and I was like, it's really cool that your avatar mode is like the same outfit that you're wearing, so nobody knows if you're really there or not. But Tammy's
Yeah,
saying
I'm
she's
here.
nervous. Yeah,
No, it's natural.
yeah. I think I can speak for Slavka and I. We both get nervous before shows too. So
Oh yeah.
don't worry about that. And she says, oh, yes, I'd love to have y'all as a guest. Yeah, just, reach out to us and send us an invite, and we will come check it out. And we will, if you want, if you share your YouTube channel in the comments, I'll put it up so that people can go subscribe and we can communicate. Um,
Yeah.
Slavka, I know, can be found. Both of us are on Facebook. So, Tammy, I'm not sure if you're on Facebook. So, if you are, you can find us on Facebook and message us there. And we will happily come in, like, check out your stuff. And who knows, you may actually find yourself on our shows as guest. So, you never
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yes. Great idea, Michael.
Yes, I love to collaborate. I think there's a lot of cool wisdom that comes from collaborating and getting, information out there. And I will share with you all that I have an opportunity that I've got in front of me right now where a friend of mine that's a podcast host had me on a show last night with a friend of mine, Sue McClure. His name is Hercules Invictus, and he's creating a show
Hmm.
about paranormal torchbearers and who is, in his viewpoint, helping the paranormal field. And by paranormal field, I'm not meaning limited to just the paranormal, but to a lot of aspects in life. And we both, Sue and I, were featured last night, and we're going to be repeating a second part to it, not repeating, but continuing a part two on
Awesome.
Sunday. And we're talking about what got us, into the paranormal, what's our experiences in life. And come to find out, Sue and I have a lot in common. And so it's amazing how when we collaborate and we find safe places where we can open up and share our stories, that we find like-minded people or people that are similar paths, and we grow and we share information, and we, the next generation, has another level of shoulders to stand on, so to speak. And so I bring that up because, like, Slavka being on my show, being on Gina's show, and speaking at a conference now, she's laying groundwork, and people that may not have known about the natural sentient are now looking at this and going, oh, I need to go check out the Natural Sentience channel and see what's on her channel. And because I like what she's saying here. And so that's where I like the collaboration. And I think Slavka is frozen right now.
Second time. Yeah, it's that high energy.
But what's funny is we can hear you, but it's we just can't see you. That's what's kind of funny about it is normally when you freeze, it's like the audio goes with it. And so that's why I was
No,
thinking you went into avatar mode is because I could still hear you.
yeah. Well, it's funny anyway. But yes, I'm still here, and I just really, I feel grateful to be like on your show
Well, I'm
because you
grateful to.
really you bring up fantastic topics and
Well, thank
fantastic
you.
people, of course.
Yes, I have a great audience, and I share my audience with other shows, and I'm just grateful. And Tammy and Source Approved 144 are commenting. I've just subscribed or just subbed. So thank you for that. And
Thank you, thank you.
we
You're
greatly
amazing.
appreciate everybody. And we would not be where we are with our shows without our audience. And so that's one
Yes,
thing. No matter how far I go with the shows, I will always remember and be true to myself because that's what brought the audience in the first place. And that's what the audience loved about my shows. And so, as much as, I may change networks and everything, I will always remember you all and always do my best to not change the way episodes are accessible so you all can continue to enjoy. And yes, Tammy, I do my best to stay humble, and I know Slavka does as well.
yeah. I mean, humbleness. It's something, yeah, also part of self mastery. But yeah, keep going, Michael. Keep going, and just it's awesome. Yeah, it's like wonderful.
Yes, you keep going too, and you keep doing what you're doing. And Source Approved 144 says, sending much love and appreciation.
Likewise, we are sending lots of love to everyone who is listening and watching, also on replay.
Yes, and before I wrap up, do you have anything you want to promote out for the audience?
Uh, so far, the YouTube channel, which is already linked down there. Thank you very much. And if you want, you can also connect with me on Facebook, as I'm there. You can, if you would like, you can share the link because I'm there as a Slavka Terekova, the natural sentient. You feel free to get in touch.
Yeah,
And
let me see if I can grab that real quick because I didn't link that in the profile. You can go
yeah, so
ahead.
feel free. So yeah, feel free to connect with me there. And so far, where I'm going is this another conference, which is awake and aware, and it's coming up at the end. 25, 26 is the weekend, the last weekend in July, which is going to be in London. And there's another disclosure conference where the Miles Johnson is also going to be speaker.
Wow.
And there is going to be Kerry Cassidy and Stephen Greer. So there's some interesting lineup. It's going to be in London, Watford, and Julia is going as well. Julia Ankerhaven. So that's what I can say for now. I'll be there, and maybe I will try to cover some live streams if possible, and
Yeah,
hopefully,
because
yeah.
I was grateful you live streamed her presentation. That was really cool of you. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you as well for your live streams. We lift each other up.
Yes. And I just got your Facebook page link up as a comment so people can see it.
Thank you. Now I realize that source approved 144. I think it's Heather. Yeah. Yes, we were there together. So thank you, Heather.
Yes. The Avebury standing stones. That's supposed to be like, is if memory serves right, those predate Stonehenge, don't they?
Yes. I think they're even more ancient in Avebury. Because for some reason we went there and not to Stonehenge. Well, particularly one group with Dr. Amir, they went to Stonehenge. Yeah, but the other group, after the conference, we went to Avebury, and Heather was there. Yeah, and some other people, and that was really something. Miriam Janse was there, and like each of those megalithic stones, those beings were interesting because of different energy, and had different message. So it was like everyone, that who was there, like were drawn to do certain, things and were guided, through the soul, and it was just amazing. It was really
Yeah.
fascinating. How much Stonehenge is actually being highlighted, but Avebury, I would say, has really its importance even higher. But I'm not underestimating. It was just my choice was Avebury, and it was really something that I would love to return there again. And I had the chance to see it from above in a small airplane because I had a wonderful trip um, with Matthew Williams, who was a speaker, yeah, at the Basis TV conference, um, and me and Selina Steenberg, that she also was a speaker. We had a chance to have a flight over the Wiltshire, and she had the chance, she had a longer flight, so she saw some crop circles, and we saw also Avebury. So that was completely different level to see Avebury from the top. But due to the weather conditions, we were not able to fly further. I had a short flight, so and then afterwards, actually, huge storm came. It was really storm, like, oh my god, like we upset all the controllers of the matrix. Yeah, so that was really something remarkable.
Yes,
But
and
yeah,
we are living in the age where we there's the mem is how I pronounce it, and I know everybody has their own way of pronouncing it, but the talks about there's a storm coming, and then at the bottom of the picture it says, but it's either but or yet I am the storm. And so it's
yes,
like, yes.
yes, big yes. I am the storm, you are the storm. We are the storm that we are
Yes,
waiting for.
exactly. And source approved said it is Heather. And then she goes, Slavka and I turned the energy of what they call the devil's chair back into what was meant to be the goddess chair. That is amazing, she says.
Yes, yes, great, excellent work has been done at that conference and after the conference as well.
And it's interesting, that you sat in the devil's chair in England. I have sat in the devil's chair in southern France. And to me, it's just interesting that they have these sites around the world and that they're called the devil's chair. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that sounds so interesting that that's the verbiage that they give to it and that there's more than one.
It's interesting. I didn't. I never heard that actually, but yeah, it's actually spot on in some way.
Yeah. And Julia popped in to say hello and she says, "Where's the devil's chair?"
Hi, Julia.
Is the
Well,
devil's chair in Avesbury or is it near there?
well, I think yeah, she refers to certain, let's say, places in in there, up there, so to speak. It can be also metaphorical, but I get what you want to say.
Yes, I think she's trying to figure out where the one you went to was so she could go check it out.
Mm, well, yeah, I mean, we went to some mission with Miles, and it was after the conference because we stayed a few days more, and we were like group, like a bunch of people,
Yeah,
and yeah, he took us to the field, and I just mentioned that yes, it was something that I could witness the place with where the things going on with some paranormal activity, extraterrestrial. It was in the field, and there I felt the energy shield, as you enter the bubble, but I felt how we were leaving the bubble because energy shifted completely. So I felt that energy shift leaving from that place.
that's beautiful.
So yes, um, and more symbology, like when the tree is pointing somewhere or statue, as in the movie Angels and Demons,
Yes.
where they use the symbology when they're building up the places, so they pointing certain directions, like okay, something is there, so follow the path, follow the sign. It was really it was really something, that I wow, and I felt like there is something I felt like exploring and feeling that on myself, and I knew that it's right. I trust what I feel.
Yes, and Anchor Haven, um, or Julia commented that you and shared again that you're coming to the Awake and Aware conference soon. And Heather said probably was originally was the goddess chair in France. The devil's chair in Avebury is the stone you sat in on that huge
Okay,
stone.
okay. So that was actually, yeah, those two huge stones were portals. Those were like guardians. Yes, one of them had a place to sit in. Like it was really literally chair. in that stone. So yeah, thank you for clarifying, for clarification, Heather. Now I understand. Yeah, I didn't know that it's that this is the name of it, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. She says it'll make more sense when I send you the photo and you can check it out. Oh, so there's
Okay,
photographic
perfect.
proof that Slavka sat in the devil's chair.
Yes, yes, there is a proof. It was actually a few minutes before I had to go and leave to the airport. So yeah, it was just for a few hours in April, mm, but it was really powerful. And there's like that place has a lot into that because when you're there, as anywhere else, you feel guided to do to go to a specific stone or specific place and just connect or do meditation or whatever. Just sit and close the eyes and just be.
Yes, I agree. And Heather commented there is well known stories about it. So we'll definitely hear more about it. And I know of a few things in Avebury, so I'll have to see if that is in my notes about that area. And if not, I'll be adding it because the one thing that was interesting about the devil's chair or goddess chair that I sat in France was there was a stone carving of, if memory serves right, of geometric shape carved in the very back of the backrest of the chair. And so it's like you would have to get up and walk around the chair to see it on the back, in other words. And so that was kind of interesting that there was that on the carved into it. And Heather says they've done many rituals on it.
Yeah.
And Jay Skyrunner said to say hello, Slavka.
Hi, Jay. Great to see you. Yeah, most likely they did some rituals on that.
Yes. Well, we are actually, I just looked at the time and I'm like, wow, we're at like an hour and 42 minutes.
Yeah, well, if you would like to, we can actually uh, finish because I don't know, like this is we could go on and on.
Yes, I know. I'm enjoying it. And I'm like, I know you have things you got to do too. And so I try to be respectful of that. And so we can always do another episode. And
Yes,
so,
if you would like to, yes.
oh, you know I would, Slavka.
Yeah, same
It's
here.
funny you ask if you want me to. It's like, really? You know the answer.
Of course. So yeah, it's been really great talk with you.
It has. And I, with your screen being frozen, I don't know, can you still see me or are you only hearing me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Up. Hey,
Yes,
look at
and
that.
yeah,
Now we can see you too.
yeah. For some reason, I got frozen. So yeah, but I
Well,
see you.
yeah, the reason I ask is because I was going to do my goodbye and sign out, but that's a message to you as the guest. But I didn't want to do it unless you could see it because it's kind of a visual and auditory. And so I didn't want you being like, what's he doing? So what I do, the message that I like to leave my guests with is from my heart and the heart of my shows to you. Thank you for what you're doing for humanity. Thank you for being your authentic self. Think what you're doing is being seen, felt, heard, and is appreciated more than you know. And I'm going to throw this in just because of some of what we were talking about. Thank you for being your true self and having the courage to stand up against all odds and say to the world, I am Slavka. Hear me roar. This is me. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. I honor you for your authenticity, for being who you are. I honor your journey.
Thank you. I
From
honor
my
your
heart to your
journey.
heart.
Thank you. I honor your journey as well. And we honor Tammy's journey as she's an up and coming podcaster. And so, with that, I'm going to say, have a wonderful rest of the day, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And we will see you all next week for shows. And Heather says, thank you for your service. And Terry
Thank you.
says,
Thank you, everyone.
oh, thank you, Terry. Yes, I love and appreciate everybody, and I respect everyone. And so, thank you. That means a lot, Terry. And so, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Get plenty of rest because we have more shows coming, and I'm what is the frequency and when can people catch the natural sentient? Do you have a specific night and time that you do episodes, or do you got to subscribe to figure out when you're going to be on?
Yeah, but it's usually like afternoon or evening your time, the US time, because I'm in Europe, so it's usually evenings, like Julia, but she's also doing it early mornings. Uh, so I do like late evenings, just timing like now, usually,
Okay.
just because of that time difference.
Right. And that's why I do some episodes earlier than others, is out of respect to my guests that are in Europe or Australia, or other parts of the world, that I'm not going to make you get up in the wee hours of the morning to do an episode if I'm not willing to be early to do an episode with you. So, mutual respect on the time zones. And so, with that, we are going to say good night, blessed day, love to you all, and many blessings. And we bid you all adieu.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Have a good night. Much
Thank you.
love.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the outro didn't want to start, so I will say I apologize, Slavka. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're welcome and thank you for coming on. It was an honor and a blessing having you on.
Thank you. Same here. Much love.
Much love, and now we'll see if the outro will work. Maybe it didn't because we needed to have that. Here we go.